So apparently Pro Tools meters have a sound. I hear a lot of ridiculous stuff on the internet, but Pro Tools meters having a sound is one of the most ridiculous ones. However, I still want to know if it's true or not. Alright, so here we go. I've got some tracks from the Warm Audio shootout. This is a special version of the song She Only Wants to Be Loved by Davia. I'll link it in the description down below. We have, drums, bass and acoustic guitar. I think that's enough for this. I did a slight mixing on it. I used some Pro Q4s, which are very linear in their behavior. And I used the built-in compressor on the bass line because it needs a little bit of compression. The song is absolutely not fully mixed, but I don't want it to be fully mixed because I don't want the plugins to interfere with this test too much. And if I think the plugins are going to interfere, I'm actually going to rip them off. I want this to be as real as possible, but also as minimal as possible. Now, in the original video claiming there's a different sound in the Pro Tools meters, they said it was during playback. And from what I understood, if I would bounce this to disk, the meters would not have sound. So we all have to do this with live playback. And the cool thing is that everything from my computer all the way to YouTube stays digital. So the signal goes digitally out of my computer into my hyperdeck over there and all the way to YouTube. And I always make sure to not affect the sound that's actually coming out of the DAW so that you all can hear it as close to the original as possible. Also, there's a loopback built into my system, so I can also record what is coming out of the computer directly back into Reaper. And that's all fully digital. And the clocks are also, well, basically the same because we're monitoring the same device. So the clocks are synced, everything is synced. And I think we have the best setup here. However, let's first do a listen test with all of you. Now, the claim was that there was a difference between Pro Tools Classic and K14. Let's do a loop at the chorus, the most busy part, and let's start with the Pro Tools Classic meters. Let's loop it a few times. Now, if we want to make this a little bit more scientific, we're going to have to do a null test. And I've always seen arguments about the value of null tests everywhere on forums that, if something nulls, it still means there's a difference or whatever. I tend to disagree. And also, if something doesn't null, it can also mean that there's something else in the test that's not correct. Like there are more variables. Here goes nothing. Let's do it 2 times. All right, build another channel, K14. K14, Reaper into record, Pro Tools into playback. I just really think I'm wasting my time with this, but somebody has to do it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna group them together here in Reaper, so that I have this overlay so that I can see both waveforms over each other. That way, I can actually align them with some precision. Look at how perfect this aligns already. Here we go. So, literally have nothing on the output, like infinite output, which means nothing, which means that these 2 files are exactly the same. Like the content in here is exactly the same. Same goes for the second time we tried. Here we go. Here, it's already nulling. I actually posted this idea this morning on my Instagram. I don't use Instagram that much. And I got a reply with, I did a test capturing the loopback from my audio interface to Reaper, a couple of mixes in Pro Tools, switching between the configuration recommended by Bob and the Pro Tools Classic meters. The mixes do not cancel out 100% in a null test. I must acknowledge that what remains is at an extremely low level, but it gives the impression that the configuration Bob suggested sounds slightly better. Now, the interesting thing about null tests is there are a million reasons why a null test doesn't null, but there's only one reason why a null test actually nulls. It's very easy to do a null test wrong. Like just one sample of misalignment already gives us this. So it's very difficult to get something to null because your whole signal path has to have the exact correct clocking and all the other stuff that I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's very difficult to get it to null. But when you get it to null, the thing that you were testing was actually the same. Like, there's no way around a null test like this. Like a fully digital null test, there's no way around it. So the conclusion here is that Pro Tools is giving the exact same content to my audio interface, to my output with both different meters. Now there was another small part in there on adding a master fader, which I quickly want to test as well. So we're keeping everything the same. We're metering at K14. We should be doing linear extended on the master bus. But the master should one way or another kick out some bits and degrade the audio quality. Now let's compare this. So we're going to record the same loop underneath this. So we have recorded already some stuff without a master fader. Now let's record it with a master fader. Here we go. Align better. There we go. Infinite output. So also with a master fader, there's no difference. Let's change the master fader to, I don't know, Pro Tools Classic meter. Here we go. One more test. There we go. Again, infinite nulls. It's and just to prove, yeah, it actually we were nulling all the time. I'm done with this. Bye.